all this produce being given away for free, and organizers say demand is higher than ever. Tyler Happel says last year 15,000 people came out to the event,
turning a $3.50 plate of fries into a $5.25 splurge, while the golden, crispy taste people loved was replaced by limp, uneven substitute.
We're expecting over 30,000 people to come through our doors and collect over 600,000 pounds of food. I've heard of people coming from Kamloops. I've heard of people coming from...
Friendly calls to Canada. Washington dropped a 35% tariff on every single potato crossing.
Sales that are just gone. They've evaporated from the United States. We're replacing it, and we're replacing it with import wines from France, from South Africa, from...
That's 50%, I believe, and now Ecuador is at 15%. So we're trying to move our shrimp production over to Ecuador, which is huge. We do 500,000 pounds of shrimp a year.
U.S. importers started looking elsewhere, not because they wanted to, but because they had to.
The company's history, who it's been owned by in the past versus now, what are its
chaos. Our next report, telling you more.
The impact of the tariff.
The prices seems to go up every week, every month. But every time I come, I see the difference in the price, especially fruits.
For some owners,
all this produce given away for free, and organizers say demand is higher than ever. Last year, 15,000 people showed up. This year they expect more than double. 30,000 people collecting over 600,000 pounds of food. But while food banks are stretched to the limit, another story has been simmering quietly. One about the humble potato. In just a few months, Canadian potatoes vanished from U.S. shelves. No warning, no fight, just gone. Prices shot up overnight, turning a $3.50 plate of fries into a $5.25 splurge. And the fries? They weren't the same, soggy, uneven, with a faint chemical aftertaste. Behind the scenes, Canada's best potatoes weren't lost, they were rerouted. Farmers were sealing a $1.6 billion deal with Asia, sending premium spuds halfway across the world instead. Meanwhile, Americans were left wondering, was this the quietest trade breakup in North American history? On April 2nd, everything changed. Without warning, Washington slapped a 35% tariff on every Canadian potato, fresh, frozen, even seed. Overnight, an everyday staple was treated like a luxury import. The ripple effects hit immediately. Wholesale bags jumped from $20 to $30, and restaurant owners saw $60,000 a week in sales vanish. For family-owned diners, the strain was brutal. Domestic replacements didn't measure up. Customers noticed. Plates came back half-eaten. And when taste changes, loyalty doesn't last long. On the Canadian side, contracts collapsed. Shipments were canceled. Farmers planted less, not because of weather, but because their biggest customer had suddenly become their most expensive one. For decades, this trade had been steady, dependable, even taken for granted. Then the tariff hit, and the flow stopped, like a tap turned off after generations. By the second quarter of 2025, Canadian potato exports to the U.S. were down 41%, the steepest drop since the 1980s. It wasn't a loud breakup, but it was devastating. Communities on both sides of the border felt it. Truckers, restaurant owners, farmers, and families. And yet, Canada didn't retaliate. No counter tariffs, no fiery speeches. Instead, it redirected. Surplus potatoes were moved into domestic grocery chains, co-ops, and food banks. Prices stayed stable, $4.50 to $4.99 a bag, while U.S. consumers watched their fries get more expensive and less tasty. Then came the big move. A $1.6 billion agricultural deal with Japan, South Korea, and Indonesia. For farmers in Prince Edward Island, New Brunswick, and Alberta, it was a new lifeline. Even Grade 2 potatoes, once sold as animal feed, found value as processed products bound for overseas markets. Suddenly, what looked like a crisis turned into global opportunity. In Charlottetown, a freezing facility expanded with a new processing line after signing a deal with a Japanese distributor. The project created 45 full-time jobs, boosted local potato purchases by 15%, and gave ugly potatoes a profitable new purpose. For a small community, the impact was huge: steady paychecks, stronger supply chains, and growth where many feared decline. What started as a tariff war ended as a story of resilience. While U.S. diners paid more for soggier fries, Canadian potatoes landed on plates in Tokyo, Jakarta, and Bangkok. The message was clear. No single market, not even the United States, would decide the future of Canadian agriculture. Sometimes the best response isn't retaliation, it's reinvention. So, what do you think? Was this the quietest trade breakup in North American history, or the smartest pivot Canada ever made?